In this video, I will show you how to take your model, which we just unwrapped in the previous video, and now I want to show you just how to create a high poly version that you can then use to bake onto your low poly version. And so the benefit of this is to create a high poly look, or just like a real higher detail without having to add in all those extra polygons. So for example, if you wanted some crease in the toe here, or maybe you want some stitches along here but you don't want to add all those extra polygons, this would be the way to do it. So the first step is to simply select everything you have here, and we are going to clone it. So Control V, and we want to make sure to hit copy and not instance. So we want to absolutely make sure it's a copy. Let's see, I'm going to change this to HP, which means high poly. And okay, let's see. Okay, so we already do have a tread high poly, and what we're going to do here is we're going to. So okay, first I want to even before I do all that, let's go ahead and rename these. So we want all this to be like back underscore LP, which means low poly. Back 2 underscore LP, low poly. So the what we're doing here is we are making these we are tagging them to be ready to be identified as a low poly or high poly version. So again, just make sure your is named how you want it to be named, because the name must match the high poly version, with the only difference being the LP versus the HP. Because then the program will be able to say, hey, we have lace strip underscore LP, you need to match lace strip underscore HP. And it'll know that those two are meant to be baked together. So I'm just going to make sure to label all these correctly. Oops, make sure it's underscore LP, not just LP. Like so. Sorry, this is kind of tedious, but it makes it a lot easier in the long run. Okay, so now I want to select all these low poly objects, and then I'll clone it. And now we will, let's go and hide everything that we just cloned, because those we do not want to touch now. Okay, so we hid everything else. Now I'm going to rename this. So instead of LP, I'm going to call this HP. So now we have our back to HP. Back loop underscore HP. So again, as you'll notice right here, it's back underscore loop underscore LP, back underscore loop underscore HP. And those need to be identical to the exception of the last two characters in order to be able to identify, or the underscore HP and LP would be the only difference. So we'll go through here real quick and just this kind of tedious renaming process again. Sorry about that. Oop, I see I made a mistake here. This should be HP and I accidentally put LP. So be careful with that. So here we do have two treads. We have a tread HP, but we can't make a second one. So the reason I have a tread HP is because I made the sole of the shoe earlier. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to select this, and I'm going to invert it. Oops, not quite how I want to do it. I'm going to select one of these top polygons, and then I'm going to grow this so it, now I'll invert it. I'm going to delete those. So now if I were to turn on my other tread HP, you'll see they should lock up pretty close. Okay. And now I can just attach. There you go. So now I have my tread, and I do notice that they are two different okay, so I'm going to need to correct this just by overlapping them a little bit more. You can either weld them together, but they do have different, right now they do have different they have different poly counts, so this might be a little tricky to do. You can try to bridge them, but you might get some weird results as we do here. Okay, so this is a little bit problematic, as I kind of forgot that we had two different polygon counts for that. So what we can do is I say the best method would be just to simply try to get them as close to each other as possible. So what I'm going to do is take for some reason it's not allowing me to select any of these. That's weird. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure why it's not letting me select, but only a couple of them. But the goal would be to weld these together and just make them nice and tight. So you might need to, I'll pause the video, I'll take some time to do that. Just make sure that this is one big shape that later on we can go and add these geometry to later on. So but yeah, so the big point of this video is make sure that your naming convention is correct, and make sure that you have your low poly version as well as your high poly version, and your high poly will be copied straight from your low poly. So with that done, I'm gonna make the adjustments to this this portion here, and then we'll go into how we'll talk a little more about adding some higher detailed additions to this high poly version that we can then bake in later on.